Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first inaugural episode of Winning Wednesdays, where I'm going to be featuring on the third Wednesday of every month someone who is winning in some aspect of their lives. And thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for having the trust and the faith in me. Thank you for being here with me. This is Facebook Live, so you can go ahead and comment. You can go ahead and share. You can go ahead and like it, and you can go ahead and be part of this discussion because it is going to be as fun, as interesting as you make it. And so for my first Winning Wednesday, I have with me this evening Father Jabriel Ballentine. And I say father, he's of the clergy, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I asked him to be the first guest on Winning Wednesday, because he's winning. He is really winning right now. He is winning in his relationship, and we're going to talk about that because he is a spiritual coach and a relationship coach. He's winning in his life right now. So that's what Winning Wednesday is about. It's about finding people who are winning in whatever aspect of their life, be it relationship, career, music, family, business, wherever someone is winning. Tell me. I want to know because I want to share their wins with the rest of the world. And that's what we're doing right here tonight on the first Winning Wednesday with Jabrel. So Jabrel got married recently, also recently had a baby. And so life is going really, really nice. You're winning. What does that feel like?
Oh man, well, Naamka, thank you so much for allowing me to be with you, and to share this first inaugural Winning Wednesdays, and just contributing some, for allowing me to be part of this. And yeah, it's been a lot going on lately. Um, you know, I think we're like 2 years, going on 3 years married. Have a new baby girl in addition to our son that I came with, because yeah, I came from previous relationships. So with my 12-year-old son, and now I have a 2-month-old baby. So it's all over the place, and it's a beautiful thing. Thanks be to God.
How does it feel? How does it feel right now to be experiencing this? To be, you have a beautiful bride, married 3 years, you had a son already, and you have a beautiful baby girl. How does it just feel to be in that space right now?
It feels a lot of things. Single dad, having type
Okay,
of things.
your mic is going in and out. I'm not sure why. So the
Can
last
you
thing I heard
hear
you
me?
say being a single dad. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but yeah, being a single dad and having been failed in marriage, you never, I never thought that I would be able to enjoy such things in my life, such joy in my life, and to be able to have that and come full circle and add another life, a little life, a precious, the idea of having an intact family, husband and wife, raising children, conquering the world, has been the idea, has been the aim and the goal. And to have fallen short, but then to find it is a beautiful thing. So it feels
Awesome.
wonderful.
Awesome. Awesome. And you mentioned that you were married before.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
married
yeah.
before. Mhm.
Yeah,
This is
I
what, your
was
third marriage?
third.
Okay. And so things sometimes don't start out right,
No,
right?
no, no,
And so
no.
that's what I want you to share with us. Things sometimes don't start out right, but things turned around for you. How did that happen?
They turned around because hope and belief. Never wavered on the idea of love, the idea of family. Yeah, I hadn't been doing it right and doing it well, but it didn't take me to that place. Thanks be to God, I never went to that place where I was like, I'm never gonna have a family. Fine.
Okay, so
Friends were always like,
I'm gonna ask you if you could just not use the microphone because you're
okay,
going in and out. You could
okay.
just do regular how we did it before.
Sure. How's that?
Good.
Okay. Okay. So let's break off the microphone. But yeah, be in that space when you've come through the various hardships.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hello. Are you hearing me? Okay.
Yes. Go ahead. And I've heard you say it before. You were really
Okay.
intentional about creating a change in your relationships. You were really intentional about saying, this is how I messed up before, or identifying things that went wrong so that you could make a change. What shift happened there, and how did you become intentional to get what you want? Because it didn't fall into your lap. Your wife didn't just
No.
fall into your lap and waltz into your life. You worked for it. How did you work for it? What shift took place, and what actions changed so that you could get what you wanted?
I had to get real honest with myself on what I wanted, on what I needed. I tell people all the time, it's hard to talk about what we need and be honest about the things that we need, because nobody wants to seem like they're needy, right? But there were certain things that I needed, and those needs, ultimately, whatever relationship I was in, and I was fine with things that I wanted, but I wasn't getting what I needed, and I couldn't be honest with my needs. So the first step for me in making that change was to get honest with what I needed out of a relationship. For one, I needed a woman that knew she wanted to be a mother, because here I come as a single dad. You're going to be instant mama with me. So if you're not sure that you want to be a mother, then, as beautiful as you may be, as wonderful as the conversation may be, what sense would it make? So I had to first get honest with what I needed and be able to be unashamed of those needs.
Okay. Okay. So get honest with yourself about what you need. That's one of the main points in relationships. Get honest with yourself about what you need.
Yeah, and be unashamed of those needs. Your needs are
And
your
be
needs.
honest.
There's nothing wrong with them. They just are what they are. Yeah.
Okay. So you identified you needed a wife, and you needed someone who was fine with motherhood. What are some of the other really eye-opening needs that you had to come to terms with so that you could know what to look for, what to go after?
I needed somebody that was intellectual. Somebody that could hold conversation. Somebody that was educated. Had an advanced degree. And it may.
Okay, you're going in and out again, so I think it may be the internet connection. You said you needed somebody with an advanced degree, someone who was intellectual. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I had to be honest that I am who I am, and I'm going to want to be engaged in that type of conversation. I'm going to want to be able to be with somebody that have that sort of conversation. A weird one, that, yeah, she had to have a certain educational level, and be okay, as snobby as that sounds. So
That's fine. And that's fine because you were honest. And if you weren't honest, you wouldn't find what you need. And I think
right,
that's one of the main problems in relationships. We say that, oh, this is okay, this is okay. We don't say what we need, as you said. And then when we get something that we don't really want, what we're gonna do with it, right? Now,
right.
how did you, when you set up that list, or when you knew what you wanted, how did you then go after finding that person?
I question psychology. We all do backdoor psychology.
Okay, you're going in and out again.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I don't understand why. I'm sorry. I have
Okay.
full connection.
Okay.
Um, so I don't understand why.
We're
I don't
hearing
know.
you now, so go ahead.
Okay. But um, I'm sorry. I lost my train of
You
thought
were
when
you were
trying to
saying
figure
that
out what's going on.
backdoor psychology to
Yeah. So
find the one.
so knowing which questions to ask to be able to identify characteristics, right? So and just do a hand signal if something misses, so I know that I need to repeat it if the connection goes out. But so if you're checking for honesty, you need somebody that's honest. You don't just ask them, "Are you gonna lie?" Because they're gonna tell you they're gonna lie. But you observe, like, are they honest in every situation, even when things are difficult, when to appease the situation, and it shouldn't even be with you. It's like you watch how they interact with other people in their life, at their job, things of that nature, and you start to determine if they exhibit those characteristics that you need on a regular basis.
Okay. And I mean, people complain about the pool of qualified people for relationships is really small. So I can imagine your pool shrank even more because you became specific about what you wanted. But while your pool shrank, those people in it were of higher quality.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. And you got.
Okay, you're going in. You said that's the thing, and
It's about being patient. It's about not getting impatient because we have some sort of arbitrary clock in our minds as to when we should be at this stage. And I'm running out of time, so I just got to grab the first thing that comes by. But knowing that this is what I want in the Lord, and this is the things that would be praiseworthy and. And having had two divorces, that was the thing for me. Like, why get into another marriage if it's gonna be
okay? Why get into another
off
marriage if
kilter?
it's going
You
to
know what I
be?
mean? By this time, if it's not going to be worth it, and so when you know what you do want, you might as well stick and settle for nothing less, because having known what a poor relationship. Way
Okay.
for the right business.
Mm-hmm. But how did you find that person though? So I think it's hard. Okay, you figure out what it is that you want, what you're
Right.
looking for. You know that you have your standards, so you know that you're gonna weed out, people who don't match that, not because you're being snobby or anything, but you just know what you want. Then
Right.
how do you find that? And I like the part where you said about being patient.
Yeah, because you got to match them
Patient.
to.
So patience is good, but
Right.
where do you find those people? I mean, is it in the library? I mean, at the church?
It's
How do you find
it's going it is going to depend. You find them in life. You find them all
them?
around you. And, when you're clear on what it is that you're looking for, you see it clearer as
Okay.
well when it shows up. It's going to show up in one of those unexpected moments. It's going to show up in one of
So,
those unexpected ways.
so
And that's.
how long how long after you made up your mind, this is the type of woman that I need in my life, and this is who I want, and I'm not going to compromise. How long did it take for you? And then we've seen stuff with Megan Good and Devon Franklin and the wait, talking about the wait, and that was different. They were together and they waited until they were married to become intimate, but they have spoken about the fact that they took a while to find each other. She said
Right.
she took a while to find him. What's going on in that space, and what should people be doing, because that's an uncomfortable space as well.
Yeah, and again, we say I'm a priest, right? So I'm a dibble and dabble in some spiritual talk as well. It's about it's about that discipline, and you find that one, by being disciplined, You know, you have the
So you have the patience.
patient, you know,
Uh-huh.
and so it's knowing where you stumble, where you falter, the type of things that throw you off, and setting up fences, setting up your own boundaries that protect you from going down those roads that tempt you to not be patient. So if I know I have a tendency to go out with people,
If you have a tendency to go out with people, if you have a tendency to go out with
and go out
people,
on dates and have something to drink, and then I end up in a situation because I can't hold my liquor, as a for instance. That doesn't mean that I can't date, but that what that does mean, if I do want to give the relationship a fair shake, I shouldn't go to a bar where I'm going to be tempted to drink and make bad choices. So how do I identify
how do you identify?
historically in my relationship and set up fences to protect me from myself and my own tendencies?
Okay, so we create boundaries for ourselves.
Right. Because I can't control what you do. You know what I mean? I can control what I do. So I create a boundary for myself on how I will engage and how I won't engage.
Okay, okay. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type your questions. We are able to monitor it and see it. And Kimberly asks, why did she find him and he didn't find her? I think that he found her. Tell us, you went seeking and looking for your wife. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It was like it was like an internet version of Coming to America, and so I went on Match. You know, one of my friends convinced me to use Match,
Mhm.
and sifting through profiles, and based on the ways that I outlined things and what I was looking for, and reading through profiles, and I'm a weird guy. I ask questions.
So you interrogated her. You
Strange
asked her. You
questions.
had a list of
No,
questions to ask her.
no, just casual conversation. Like Biggie
Okay.
said, what questions to ask, what numbers to dial. He gonna be here for a while. I don't, not those, not that superficial,
Uh
but
huh.
having the right questions in mind in terms of, let me see what type of person she is. And yeah, so I liked the type of person that she was, and so I wanted to meet her, and so met her and liked her even more, and then the rest is dramatic history.
Awesome, awesome. So you're a relationship coach. You first of all, you are in the clergy right now. So briefly
Yes.
tell us how that happened, and then how is it that you're in the clergy and dating? I mean, what's that like?
Yeah. So I mean, the clergy. Make a long story short. I ended up in the clergy after being in politics. I was a communications director for a member of Congress in D.C. And just didn't like the way politics always changed depending on who was in power. And meanwhile, people's lives hang in the balance. And I wanted to spend my life working at things where people mattered most, or at least where
Mhm.
that's what it should be, because we don't have that in
Okay,
the church all the time either. But
okay.
in the Episcopal Church, actually clergy can marry. And
So you made sure you chose one where you can get married.
so that's how so yeah, had to be in a faith that allowed for me to be married.
Okay. And you're a relationship coach as well. So you've been through it. You're not only speaking about it from a theological standpoint, from being in a clergy. You're speaking about it from experience as well. Being a relationship coach, what is the number one question, or the number one question that people have for you? What do people seek you out for most?
The first thing popped into my mind probably isn't the one that people seek me out for most. Um, the first thing popped in my mind was what I hear most often, is why is it so hard? Why are relationships so hard? And it's like we have all of these romanticized pictures of fairy tales and knights in shining armor and Boris Kudrow coming through the window and, all kinds.
So you're saying that we fantasize too much about
Yeah,
what marriage is.
yeah, and we don't go into it knowing that it's work. And so the thing is, we go into it knowing that it's hard work, and so we're going to go into it with somebody that we want to work with.
Hmm. So Kimberly Samuel says that
You
relationships
know,
and marriage take work. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. And so knowing that, and knowing that it's going to be hard work, I better be going into it with somebody that I want to do the work with. You know.
But okay, so here's a question I have.
Okay.
When do we know it's not worth the work, a relationship to take it to the next level? Because there are also times when we may be in a relationship and we know people are in relationships and they are working hard, but they're not in the right relationship.
Right.
And you mentioned it takes work. How do we know when the work is worthwhile or when we should put our energies, as you've done, into something else that you can build with?
You know, how I've come to understand it from my own experience is putting the right things first. And so what that means is, a lot of times, like when I used to screw it up, you put the relationship first. I wanna please her, or and so, and then I'm not mad. Then I'm mad because I'm not pleasing her, or she's mad because I'm not pleasing her, or any combination of those things, and there's all sorts of discord, and relationship ends in a tailspin. Or the way that I look at it now is the philosophy, the ideology, the theology is what's first. What do we believe about marriage? This union of man and wife coming together as Christ did with the church.
Okay. So you have to set up and establish first a good belief system with whomever you want to be married to. I like that.
And that
All right, you're going out a little bit, but we have a comment
and that
here.
person shares that belief. Okay.
Mhm. We have a comment here, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. You mentioned this is your third marriage. What is it about you that being the common denominator of the previous marriage that you had to work on about yourself? What
Yeah.
did you have to work on about yourself, knowing that it didn't work out the past two times for you? And I mean, I gotta say congratulations to you because you're brave. Some people would say, I did it once, it didn't work. I did twice, it didn't work. I'm not doing it again. But you knew that you wanted to do this. But so what about it? What about you changed?
Um, you know, I think I got better at being introspective, at being honest about myself. Um, so I thought I had done some of that work, and then of course failed, and still think I've done some of that work, and know that I still need more work to do. But it's it's staying humble enough to always keep God above me. To stay humble enough to know that, to remind myself and to know that I'm not perfect. And so when I make my complaints or my gripes or whatever, that there's probably 4 or 5 more that come my way.
I like what you said with being humble enough to keep God above you.
And so just stay in that. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's that. Otherwise, because it's easy. If it's me and you, Nyamka, it's easy for us to argue. It's
Mhm.
easy for us to disagree. But if it's me and God, and if I can hold that in the balance, I can't argue with him.
Mhm.
Arms too short to box. So you gotta lay low and just be like, yes, Lord, and carry on and
Mhm.
enjoy. Um, but it's hard to keep that perspective.
Okay. So you've given us a lot to think about this evening, and you guys can keep coming with the questions and the comments so that we can ask him. We're going to be on just for a few moments. So go ahead with the comments and the questions so that we can ask him. And you spoke about many things here. What is the single most important piece of advice you would give to let me start first with single people and
Hmm.
then with married people, because there are a lot of single people who want to get into relationships to lead to marriage. How do you get there? What's your first piece of advice there?
You know, the advice is the same. I think how both would look at it and approach it would be different. So the
Okay.
advice is back to knowing what it means, what is sacramental about marriage, what is sacred about marriage. Knowing that when we talk about the idea that God would join Himself to you and I, to humanity, that someone that is dramatically other would bring himself to join himself to somebody that is distinctly other, God and human. You know and that man and woman coming together is a representative of that reality. And now
All right, so we're having a
coming to
little
that
bit of
reality
technical
as husband
difficulties.
or come
Go ahead.
yeah, if that's what I believe, that's the seriousness that I have to approach that with, and the
Mm-hmm.
seriousness that I need you to approach that with.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I want a marriage that's going to go up towards the kingdom of God, and you ain't worried about the kingdom of God, then what are we doing?
Mm. Okay.
So that would be the advice. And for singles, it's yes, I know that that's what I believe, that's what I want. I'm only going to be with you and even give you a chance if that's what you want, right? If we
Okay.
agree on that,
Okay.
then we can figure out, can we make it there together?
I like that.
But
I like that.
for those who are married, I'd say
Okay, so you're breaking up a little bit. For those who are married,
always remember that it's about God, and it's about the covenant that I made with God and that you made with God.
okay. Riri has a great question I'm going to put up here on the screen. How do you discern someone that God has sent to you? Is there a sign? Thank you, Riri, for that, because I think that's a question that single people ask all the time. People come
Yeah,
into your lives, and as I say it, they look good on paper, right? They
right,
look good on paper. Just like you have your qualifications and you had something. So you might say, I want somebody with a degree. Oh, he has a degree, check. I want
right.
somebody who's this. And they look good on paper and they talk the talk, but sometimes things don't end up working out and you realize that person wasn't for you. How do you discern? How did you know your wife was the one?
Yeah. I can't give you any formula that's going to guarantee that, because the Lord moves in mysterious ways. But what I can confidently say is that we're supposed to test the spirits to know that they're from God. What happens a lot of the time is, we say, Lord, help me, find
We say, Lord, help me. We say, Lord, help me find someone. Uh-huh.
a woman, and then the next woman that comes around the corner, she might be smiling too sweet at us, and oh yeah, that's the answer to my prayer. That was the sign. But we don't. Then we stop testing the spirits to see if they're from God. So
How
we
do you do that? How do you do
so
that? How do
again,
you test the
when
spirit for those who may not know?
when you've looked at what you need, not what you want, the things that you need in your reality, we know that God shows up what we need. And if we believe that relationship and marriage is going to complete us and the two become one, and they become one flesh, then you and I are going to fill in where each other's needs are. And if they don't fill in needs, if there's gaping holes with things that you honestly need, then it can't be from God, because God ain't going to leave you in a situation where you're lacking.
Okay. Okay, I like that. So Riri, does that answer it for you? You test the spirit and you see if that person is complementary to you. They meet your standards. They answer the questions that Jabril said earlier. The questions of, are you both working together in what the holy matrimony is about? And then you continue to test them and you make sure that you're clear on it. So it's not just the first person that comes into your life who meets all of the
Right.
bullet points on your checklist. All right, so we are getting ready to wrap up. Go ahead, Jabril.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the question that everybody, that's the $1 million question. You know, how do I know that I found the one?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So she commented back and she said it makes sense. Never thought about what you need versus what you want. And as human beings, we kind of do that. We
Yeah,
focus on what we want.
right.
We focus on the things that we want rather than things that we need. And then, like you said earlier, a lot of times we're not patient enough to wait for what it is that we really need.
Right.
So, Jabril is a coach. We're getting ready to wrap up now. Jabril is a relationship coach. And how can people reach you if they want to, learn more about what you do and how you can help them in their relationships, in their marriages and their relationships? Because you coach both single and married people.
Yes, correct. That is true. So, you can first just get into my mind a little bit. And if you go to championshiplove.com slash the number 7 days. So championshiplove.com slash 7 days. And I just have a free email series. It's 7 days of those principal things that help you to shift the perspective to the approach that I'm offering forward on relationships. And it's 7 days of emails. There'll be video in it and just some short, like 2-minute videos just to get your mind. And if you like what I'm talking about, then we can connect further. If you like the way that I approach relationships, that I frame things, and you think that that's something that would be helpful to you, I'd love to be able to help.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jabril. He gave his information. He's also
To help
on
you. So you can go to
Facebook. All right, he's also on Facebook. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but he's also on Facebook. He gave his website address where you can go if you want to see some more of the work that he's put out there and advice that he's given to the people that he coaches. He has a online series, as he mentioned, where he has video clips. You can listen and you can learn that way. I want to thank you very much for joining me. I think that I learned a lot. I'm hoping that everybody did. As I tell you guys all the time, I go back through the comments. Jabril, if you may want to go back through the comments, answer some questions for a few more moments, if you can. Thank you guys for joining thoroughly with the first episode of Winning Wednesdays. And Jabril was so gracious as to be my first guest speaking about relationships. And we learned about how he's winning in relationships because he changed his mindset. And he didn't just wake up with a brand new perfect relationship. He went through some things before he got it. So that's to say that you can win too. You can win in your relationship too. It doesn't matter if you're in your first marriage or your third marriage. You have to shift your mindset and take the necessary steps in order to start winning. I think that's what I learned from having you on as a guest this evening.
Oh, wonderful, Naimka. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this space with you and be part of this inaugural episode of Winning Wednesdays. And you keep helping people win and keep showcasing the wins of others.
Thank you so much. If you know someone who is winning in some aspect of their life, be it their relationship, their career, their business, anything, man, woman, or child, let me know. Send me an email, nyamka.farrelly@yahoo.com. We want to learn about what they're doing to win so that we can share their wins. Here on Wednesday, I say keep working to win, keep sharing your wins, and help others to win. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night. Thank you, Jabril. And I'll go back over through the comments. Love you guys.